It has been almost 2 years since I disappeared on YouTube, and I'm going to tell you my reasons why, right? If you do not know me, I am Refilwe Khatebe, better known as Fifi. And yeah, I've created this channel a long time ago. However, I started posting regularly about 4 years back. Then what happened was 2 years ago, I stopped round about August, I think. The reason why I actually stopped was I needed a break. I really needed a break from social media as a whole, not just YouTube, but then social media as a whole. It almost got to a point where it felt like there was just information overload, you know? You know that I don't know if you ever gotten that sense where it feels like there is just so much consuming and consuming of information that in the midst of you consuming all of that information, you are slowly losing yourself and slowly forgetting who you are. At least that's how it felt like for me. I don't know. Then in that point, I just decided, you know what, let me just take a break from social media. Initially, when I took this break, I was like, okay, it was going to be for about 2 months, 3 months. And along that time, I just thought, no, let me extend it. Why I extended it? And I actually extended the break to a year, right? So ultimately, I was supposed to be back on social media last year, of which it didn't happen. It's life. Life just has a way of actually just surprising us. We all know that, right? So I eventually just thought, okay, let's make it a year. Why a year, and why particularly last year? Well, I was turning 40. And as I was turning 40, one of the reasons why I actually thought, okay, let me just, be on a slow down, relaxed kind of mood was most of you don't know. I don't think I've ever shared it in my channel. But I lost my mom when she was about to turn 42. And as much as I was able to grieve and go through the pain, the asking God why my mom, why now, and all of that, and just going through that emotional roller coaster. One of the things that really didn't come up for me up until last year actually was, why did she die at the age of 42? And when she passed on, I could have been about 21, almost 22. And at that time, in all honesty, it felt like my mom was a little bit old, right? But then as I'm slowly catching on to the years that she lived on earth, I'm realizing that, hang on, 42. Actually, she wasn't old, she wasn't old. In fact, she was actually coming into the prime of her life. So in the midst of me taking a laid back time from everything, the hustle and bustle of life, it really hit me. And I got this sense of anxiety. I'm one person, I hardly ever get anxious, but well, I do get anxious, but then not in such a way that I actually did this time. And I became so anxious as to say, my mom passed on just after she got to her 40s, and I'm creeping into my 40s. Could this be history repeating itself? Even though I'm perfectly well, I'm healthy, there's no major issues in my life, it started becoming a scare factor and more like fear induced kind of emotion or feeling rather, because I felt like, okay, would I be able to surpass the 42-year mark that she got to live? And it really started like really playing with my mind. It started playing with my head, and I became anxious. I started to grieve her loss again. And most, I think I became not sad, but very afraid. I got freaked off as to say, would I be able to surpass this mark? And in that space that I was in, that's when I also realized that, hang on, let's just extend this getting off social media for some time so that I can literally just get into my fields and really work through this, because it posed a challenge on so many levels. Because I also realized that because of the agitated state that I was constantly in, even though it was not coming up all the time, but then whenever it would come up, it would pose itself as a challenge that would really scare me. And it forced me to really face that fear, and to ask of myself, is to say, how do I want to show up in life, and would this be something that really defines my journey going forward? Am I going to be stuck in this, and could I be the one that breaks the cycle? And mind you, um, even though there was that loss of my mom almost 20 years ago, in 2016, I lost my sister as well, the only sister that I had. Well, I still have my brother. But then those kind of losses sort of like it's at you subconsciously, because like now here I am in this space in my life. I'm thinking all the females in my life are like literally departing, and they're departing very early, because my sister was around 26 when she passed. Could be wrong. But then, yeah, so there was like this fear induced feeling, emotion that I had around this. And because of that, I honestly felt like, okay, I need to sit with my feels and really just fix my head around this and work through it, of which I did. And it was one of the reasons why I actually ended up saying, you know what, I don't need all of this extra noise that is going to deter me or move me away from actually dealing with myself, right? And of which I did, of which I did. It was a struggle to a certain point where I had to release the whole thing, understanding that only God knows when who is supposed to pass, and I don't know what is written in my stars. Um, I could be the one that breaks that cycle. I almost said generational curse. I don't know. I could be the one that breaks that cycle and move on to surpass the years that she has lived. And also just thinking about this whole thing, because my mom was raised by my great grandmother, of whom she got to live up until the age of I think it was 93. So, like it almost felt like these two kind of narratives don't merge. And it also forced me to understand that, you know what, everyone's life journey is only written in the stars, and only God has the command to say who is to pass when, and I had to constantly start reminding myself of that. It wasn't easy, because there is the higher wisdom of knowing that only God knows, but then at the very same time, we are only human. There is that fear that is mongering within that says, but then this has been the reality that I've seen. But then only God knows, So that was one of the major things that actually forced me to retrieve, and just to get into my space, and just be social amongst the people that are closest to me, and just not find myself everywhere all the time. And I felt like, okay, one of the things that really needs to take it a step back, take a back burner, would be social media. So, yeah, that was one of the things that I went through. And I got to my 40. It was a very beautiful, beautiful celebration. And yeah, and also the with that, I think what also came up was understanding, or rather trying to figure out how I wanted to really I'm losing words here. All right, I had to take a pause. Words were failing me, and I almost felt like I was about to burst into tears. So forgive me about that. Yeah, as they say, life begins at 40, And the second point was I wanted to just merge myself in wanting to understand how I wanted to show up in life, like we always have to go into this thing of how do I show up? How do I show up? And I understood that I was no longer a young adult and now becoming an adult on my way to senior citizenship. But then I understood that there was not that young part. Hadidas, Hadidas, Hadidas. Who of you lives amongst Hadidas? I love Hadidas, but then they just have this tendency to start going meow when you're busy with something. Yeah, as I was saying. So I wanted to move away from saying I'm a young adult to actually being an adult, And with that, please don't take it any other way. I am not stopping having fun. I'm not stopping playing. Those are some of the things that I actually love to do to recharge myself. But then I also just had to sort of like wind my head to say, look, sisters, you are no longer a young adult, but then now you are an adult, and how do you want to show up in life as an adult? And funny enough, with that came the next reason why instead of just a year of social media, it ended up being 2 years, of which is I got pregnant with my third son. He is the cutest thing ever. Yes, I know every parent says their kids are the cutest, but then I promise you, he is the cutest thing on earth. He's almost 6 months now. In a few weeks' time, I think I have hair on my lips. Okay. In a few weeks' time, he will be 6 months old. He's just the most beautiful thing. And yeah, and of which is actually one of the reasons why I actually am back. I'll tell you about it in another video that I'm going to do separately, but then I'm just going to give you snippets and nuggets of how he actually became the catalyst of me coming back to social media. Guys, I have hair on my lips. Okay, I think it's gone. When I was pregnant with him, I started making skits, pregnancy skits, right? And just for fun and for our own memories and all of that. Then I had my youngest, no, my oldest being the champion of this whole thing, and the dad being the one that sort of like directs and so it was more of a fun thing that we were all doing to engage in this pregnancy, all of us, right? And after he was born, I waited for about, I think, a month after he was born. Then I started posting some of the skits on TikTok. The first one that we posted, guys, it went viral. I have to date 8.8 million views on that video. And, the nicest thing about it was we were very relaxed. There wasn't any tension. We were just having fun. And my oldest said, let's just post this on TikTok, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. The next thing we posted, and within a matter of hours, it moved from 0 views to something like 10K views. And being me, I mean, I've never had 10K views in my whole freaking life. And at that time, my TikTok account had 357, 358 followers. And my channel just blew up, guys. Basically, it just blew up. I know channels that blow up, in most cases, it's hundreds of followers, it's hundreds of thousands of followers. But then I moved from something like 350 odd to 6,300 odd followers because of that video. And I was like, oh my goodness me. But then it didn't go to my head, other than it just, you know how social media gives all of us dopamine. whether we like to admit it or not, it is true. Every time somebody clicks, comments, likes, says something about your video that makes you feel good about yourself, it just boosts your serotonin levels and all of that. So yeah, for a couple of days after that, I just watched this video go. And I think 3 days later, we posted another one, which also gained traction, but then not as much as the first one, because I think it set around 15K views. I'm like, okay, I'm happy. You know, the the biggest I've got of views was 37 views. So just imagine moving from 37 views to something like 15K views. It's a big deal. I mean, so and we posted 3 4 more, and they really received a positive reception. And I think it sort of gave me the nudge to say, okay, come back into the social media thing. I mean, it feels good. People are liking your videos and. But then, mind you, it's skits about my bambino, right? It has absolutely nothing to do with my content. So then I stopped. And the reason why I stopped was I almost got confused as to say, this is not the content that I want to make, right? Because first of all, he hasn't consented to any of this happening for him. Yes, I am the parent, but then he hasn't consented to any of this happening, right? And I don't know whether it's things that he would like or not. Yes, in a long run, it has that advantage of we documenting this journey for him, of which it's cute. I don't have a problem with that, you know. But then at the very same time, I'm questioning and asking myself, do I really want to expose him to social media in that way, you know? So there's that catch-22 as to say, do we continue making the skits surrounding him or what? And I'm still going to post a few more, but then probably not going to do that, because also it almost feels like it's a clickbait. Guys, please forgive me. I have Hadidas around my yard. As early as 7:30, they are in my yard waking us up, and as late as 4:30, they are in my yard telling us to go to sleep. Right. So if you hear the sound of Hadidas, just forgive me and just let Hadidas do what Hadidas do. Okay. So I grappled, or I am still grappling as to say, do I pivot my content to make it about him so that I go viral? Or do I use him as a clickbait, of which I have to confess, I actually used him as clickbait to resuscitate my channel here on YouTube, because when I came back, I posted that same video that blew up 8.8 million views on TikTok, and I posted it here on YouTube. It didn't get to 8.8 million views, but then I think it's sitting at around about 16,000. Is it 16? Yes, 16,000 views, of which for me and for my small, beautiful, lovely channel, it's a big deal. Don't argue with me, argue with the next door. All I know is that 16K views for my channel at this moment, it is a big deal. So now I posted it here. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I posted it here, and it sort of like blew up. I would call that blowing up as well, because like I've never gotten anything over than 1.5K views on my shorts, right? And here's this short, it's going for 16K views. And I was like, okay, I can use this as clickbait, right? And it actually did work, because it moved me from 156 subscribers to, I think now I'm sitting at 179. Again, for a small channel like mine, that is one heck of a big deal, guys. It's a big deal to just know that there's these people that just subscribe. Yeah, I think I got something like over 28 subscribers just through these small skits of his videos. And yeah, it kind of feels like a cheat sheet somehow, because I'm using them as clickbait to actually resuscitate my channel, because my channel is nowhere near talking about babies. So yeah, that's one other thing that really motivated me to say, okay, hang on, let's come back. Chances are, I don't know, even maybe the algorithm itself is saying, okay, we're just going to entice you so that you come back and you do this YouTube thing again, right? But then, other than that, what I'm also seeing on this one particular point, again, what I'm also seeing is we have moved from the labor intense age whereby you needed to work extra hard in order for you to make it. And we moved into the skills based age whereby your skills determined your level of salary. And now we are at that age whereby I say ideas, not actually even ideas, creativity, it's what makes you stand out, right? Is it right? Is it wrong? Go debate that with a rock. We're not here for that. And I'm understanding also that it's going to require a heck of a lot of time for my channel to get traction and to possibly get to 1,000 subscribers and 400 watch hours. I'm not oblivious. For anyone that has subscribers almost the same amount as mine, guys, going up the ladder, it's not going to take you just saying, I'm just going to be casual about this whole thing. You really need to treat this thing as something that you want to achieve, have a strategy, have your goals, take your goals, and do what is necessary for you to get there. Yes, now and then luck plays, or yes, it's ahead, where, like I said, 8.8 million views. Honestly, I would think luck had a lot to do with that, but then at the very same time, you cannot be begging, you cannot be bargaining on luck in order to make it. You need to put yourself out there, you need to post, you need to do the things that has to be done in order for you to get somewhere. So yeah, it has encouraged me, I don't want to lie, to just say, okay, you know what, let's give this content creation one more try. Not one more try in a sense of after this, I'm not doing it anymore. No, I think I'm more wiser in a sense that initially when I started my channel, it was just filled with this blind optimism. I was like so optimistic that I upload 3 videos, everything is gonna no. I went from this blind optimism to a demotivated phase whereby I just realized that no, man, this whole content creation thing, it's a lot of work. Then I became awake to this blind optimism. Then it became informed pessimism, whereby, like, literally reality humbled me. I started understanding that just because you have posted, it doesn't mean that you will just blow up. There is work that needs to be done around that, right? And I think that's also something that I really learned. I really got to learn, because, like, as I'm coming back now, I'm also watching my previous videos and I'm realizing a few things. One is how much I have grown. For instance, I've always had an issue with looking straight into the camera. I felt so intimidated, but then for some reason, this time around, it just feels so natural. But then I understand that it is feeling natural because it's something that I had to go through and go through and go through and go through up until a point whereby I'm really looking into the lens, understanding that I'm speaking to you, right? On the other side, I'm hoping you can see that. The other thing is I had to also, of which it's something that I'm still doing, right? I'm still trying to find my speaking voice, and I'm more open now to mistakes on camera, of which with my previous videos, I tried my level best not to make mistakes. And whenever I did that, it almost felt like the mistakes were showing up, and it would just take twice, if not 3 times as longer to complete a a recording as it would when I'm just in my relaxed state, right? And I kind of feel like this time around, I'm really getting into being relaxed in who I am and just understanding that, you know what, I am not money. I cannot be everyone's cup of tea. There's people that are really going to like how I do my content here, and these people that are just going to absolutely hate how I do my content here, and I need to be okay with it. So throughout this journey of really trying to make it on YouTube, what I would say is there has been a lot of wisdom that has been gained and a lot of experience, not to take away from confidence, from or confidence and just having a strategy on what is it that I want to achieve with my channel, of which is taking us to my next point, right? And just having that free flow understanding that, you know what, at the end of the day, you are going to do you the best. You cannot do someone else the best, because if you imitate doing someone else, you are going to be a watered down version of who that person is. You'd rather just be an original version of yourself, because no one can imitate that. So these are some of the, I would almost want to say, psychological learnings that I have found from this. Not to mention the technical side, to your I almost said back office to your YouTube studio, whereby you start learning all of these things, as to say the graphs on retention, subscribers, audience, and how they work and all of that. So it's a very beautiful business model that one gets to learn, right? Which brings me to my next point, of which is, I think I have two more to go that I'm actually out loud thinking I can speak on at this moment. One is, the next one is the near future of this channel. Like I said, even though I had those shots that brought more of the subscribers into the channel, it's not moving me away from what I am doing in my channel. My channel is mostly going to be this style of content. However, this time around, I'm hoping that I am going to come across more natural, more authentic, and more pleasing to the eye, but then just being more of who I am, right? And also, I'm going to be doing the very same thing that I was doing, because like I think that's another thing that really just got my channel all over the place. I was doing these self-development strategies, and at the same time I was doing my DIYs. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I am unable to separate myself from the things that make me who I am. And there is a few things that I want to merge into this channel. Hence, at this moment, I would not say I have niched down to say this is my niche. However, I have a broad understanding of what I want to encompass on this channel, right? One being these sit-down self-development strategies, two being growing food. I'm on a journey. I've been on a journey of growing my own food for the past 5 years. And this is something that I want to share with everyone. I am still not yet a guru there, but then I am at a point whereby we can say 75% of the vegetables that we eat in my household are homegrown. And it's something that I love with a passion. The other thing is I am into DIYs and carpentry, so that's another thing that I would love to share in with everyone on this channel. So yeah, I think at the moment those are the three major things, which is the self-development strategies, DIYs around the home, and growing our own foods. So if any of you can actually give me a niche name for that, I would really, really appreciate it. But then, however, that's more or less what I am still going to be presenting in this channel. So please do not get confused that how one day she's sitting down with her red lipstick, the next thing she's in her rain boots in the mud somewhere, child, just relax, just relax. Those are the things that I enjoy to do. And I'm going to say that me saying that kind of reminds me of one of the main reasons why I actually retired at the age of 36. Why? One of the reasons, there's a couple of reasons there, but then there's one particular reason of which, I still say one day I would love to sit around with HR specialist and they explain to me why this question. There is a question that you always get asked when you go to interviews, which is tell us about yourself. Every time I heard that question, I would like literally smile and start speaking whatever it is that I needed to speak in order for me to get that job. But then deep down, I'd be like, child, you do not want to know about me. Because, what do you base that on? Do you base that on trying to get the job? Or do you, like, if you were to say, this is me, who are you? Because, like, today you might wake up, in the left side of the bed and it presents this about you, and then tomorrow you are this happy person, then on the other day you are this person that wants to like shout at the whole world, like, who are you? So that question always bugged me. It really always made me feel like, you know what, honestly, it honestly feels like a very philosophical question. Like, tell us about yourself. What do you want to know about me? One minute I'm angry, the next minute I'm sad, the next minute I'm happy, the next minute I'm a mother, then I am a businesswoman, and then I am a carpenter. What is it that you want to know? Why am I shouting? Okay, let's calm down. So that with that, I'm trying to say it's really a challenge for me to niche down and say this is the niche for this channel. However, the three major things that I am concentrating on is these self-development strategies that I would be discussing with you guys on the sit-down setup. Then there would be the DIYs that would also encompass us growing food, right? So yeah, that's that. And if that's the kind of content that resonates with you, please do stick around. But then if it's not, by all means, Mtana Sekaya, let's not fight. Everything is fine. Okay, I'm using my phone to record, and for some reason it's telling me about clearing storage. You see why I don't want to use the phone to record. And the thing is, my camera, it just fell, guys. When this camera fell, I felt like a piece of my heart broke, but then it's okay. And the reason why I'm not using the camera is we're waiting for batteries to charge. For some reason, the other two batteries were not charging, and the one that I was using died. So it is what it is. I just realized that it's either I wait that 50 minutes for the battery to fill, or I just continue. And if I were to wait for that almost hour, I would not do this video. So yeah, that's where we are at. Last but not least on my list is, it comes back to tell us about yourself. If there's one thing that I've always had with me, when I sugar on my frame, why is this thing in my frame now? If there was one thing that I would have loved to say whenever somebody said, tell us about yourself, it would be, I am able to reinvent myself every time life requires of me. And I almost feel like it's my superpower, right? But then with that being said, I also acknowledge that it is almost everyone's superpower, like being able to reinvent yourself. And I'm at that point in my life, in my journey, whereby I'm like, you know what? We are up for another reinvention of who this refueler person is. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's in store. In any case, I'm going to stop here, because if I don't stop here, I'm just going to keep on rambling and rambling, rambling and rambling. However, I am back on YouTube and ready to walk through this unfolding journey, and I am hoping that you will be part of it. I would love for you to be part of it. So yeah, guys, this brings me to the end of this video. If you feel like this is your cup of tea, by all means, please do join us on this journey. I would love to have you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, on what stood out for you, and any suggestions that you would want to make. I would really, really appreciate those. And yeah, let's just navigate this thing going forward. And let's do this. And as always, I will see you on my next upload.